Hello all my Kenvians and welcome to a new episode of Discovering Steven Universe. Today the episode I'm going to be watching is one that the name still kind of confuses me a bit, and it is Dugout. And though thankfully I do know that Doug is Connie's dad, which is thanks to, I mentioned before that a comment had pointed this out to me, but it was from Mixflix, who you might know from his lengthy but very well done comments on most of these videos. So yeah, looking forward to watching this episode and just getting to know more about Connie's dad, because we really don't know much, if anything, about him at this point. So, let's get right into it and go. My hair is all kinds of fuzzy today. He's been through a lot lately.
You okay there, Steven?
Oh, yeah. I love it down here.
And how's my swashbuckling night on a stakeout?
Whoa, a stakeout. Dad,
Dugout.
so
Stakeout.
cool.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty cool, huh?
Aw.
Protecting the citizens of it's probably just some kid loitering. Hey,
Probably Onion.
hey,
Oh, speak of the devil.
hello? Right now. Just kidding. I need these to see. Go ahead.
Okay.
Or not Onion.
Me on the fence.
Flashlight. Hey, open up this instant.
Yeah, lights out.
The crap is happening.
It's so quiet.
Could that... Like, could it be another one of the rubies?
Mocking us. Show you the abyss, the land of fun.
Behind you.
Uh...
Dad, Mr. Maheshwaran.
Find you.
So, it looked smaller. I would say it's a ruby, but they're not that quick, are they?
I guess all I'm good at is being your silly old dad.
I can relate to that.
Right.
I'm not a dad
All her silly.
yet.
But that's why I like him.
Uh... Okay. So it's neither... Well, it's not one of the rubies, and it wasn't Onion. Because I was actually wondering, like, the shadow that we saw on top of the one stand before the gate came down on Doug, it almost looked like it could have been a ruby, except the hair, like, the head had sort of a... I don't know what you would, kind of hair you would call it, but it's like the hair was round and then it sort of like, you know, angled out there at the bottom. No idea with hairstyles, sorry. But that explains a lot. So apparently it's a giant gem, whatever it is. It doesn't look familiar at all. Neither of them look familiar, really. I mean, just based on their shadows. The little floating one with wings, I guess I'm wondering if it's similar to Lapis, maybe, because, you know, she's used used water to form her wings before. Well, many times. But not really, like, this was more butterfly-ish, and this one seems a lot smaller, just based on the shadows at least. So what the heck is going on? So when Onion pointed at himself and shook his head, that was one thing I was wondering, is like, is he saying that he didn't do it? Which, I mean, one argument could be, it's like, you know, well, of course he's going to lie, but when it comes to that kind of stuff, Onion never really lies. He gets into a lot of trouble, he does a lot of not good things, but he's never lied about it, to the best that I can remember anyway. So, and of course I say, like, he's lying as if he speaks regularly. But basically, if he's ever doing something, he fesses up to it in his own way. So, I'm concerned now. Are they... And he was terrified. So, whatever these gems are, were they specifically searching for him? And that would explain why he was so terrified, because, like, when Onion was running away, the gems were likely chasing after him, and then, not knowing that they were chasing Onion, Steven and Connie chased after them as well. Which, every time we saw, like, we didn't actually see anything, it was just like a little flash almost of, like, part of their shadow running away during the little chase sequence. It didn't look like anything Onion would be wearing, unless maybe he was wearing a cape, which he wasn't in this case. It's like I didn't write down any notes, but it's like I was trying to remember, like, everything I could to really comment on this episode, but that end part right there, ooh, I know that I'm coming to the end of season 4 here, so I mean, I just can't help but wonder what's going to happen. Like, if Homeworld gems are specifically hunting down Onion, my question is why? And if they're specifically hunting down Onion, are there any others that they're going to be hunting down? Or, like, did they... Doug said that someone had been loitering there at Funland for several nights, so they didn't just get there. So that makes me wonder, again, if they are abducting or kidnapping of a sort, have they gotten anyone else? And will that be what is addressed in the next episode? Which, speaking of which, let's take a look and see what the next episode is going to be. So this one was dug out. The next one is The Good Lars. So, I don't know. Maybe this will get addressed in some form. Interested to see what will happen. But before I actually close the video here, there were some other things I wanted to comment on. Doug, Connie's dad, I really like him. It seems like really the first and kind of only time we saw him before, to the best of my memory, was at that dinner seasons ago, where we were introduced to Alexandrite. And he didn't really say much. It was like the mom was definitely the more talkative one. Doug just kind of was there. So in this one, we got to see more of his personality for the first time. Like, get to see his personality, and he's a dad. He's a goofy dad who really wants to impress his daughter. He wants to be important. And it's like, he wants to be a protector, which, as a security guard, he is. But, I mean, he even says it in the episode, compared to what his daughter does, as one of the crystal gems, essentially. And also his wife, who is a doctor, it's just like, his job is comparatively boring, I guess? Or it's like it doesn't see the same kind of action. But he's a dad. He's goofy, tries to do his best to make the best of a situation. I think that him and Greg would get along really well. I mean, maybe that's just me. Let me know what you all think, but I think that, well, I mean, they did meet already. But, like, if there was a situation where Greg and Doug were just left by themselves, I think they would get along really well. Like, it would probably be super awkward at first because, you know, Doug is a bit more by the rules and Greg is more of a hippie kind of guy. But I really do feel like they would make for a good friendship. And, I mean, if it has happened in a future episode where they do actually kind of hang out, let me know. Don't spoil anything about it, but do let me know. If not, I mean, at this point, I guess my only hope would be that they might do that at some point. It seems like it would be, again, it just seems like a fun idea, something enjoyable for the two characters to be thrown into. Just a quick, I mean, we have the Townie episodes, so why not Doug and Greg? Something along those lines. I don't know, I just think it could be a lot of fun. But other than that, I mean, I've really commented on everything else that came to mind for this episode. The mysterious shadows, these gems, whatever they are, and also Onion. I'm trying to think if I've ever seen Onion, like, legitimately scared before. And I can't recall a time. Like, he's been surprised. He's been excited. But we've never seen him scared. And the fact that they, like, before the shadows even appeared there right at the end, like, they animated him with a legitimate look of fear and terror. So that's, I don't know. I'm concerned about Onion. I'm very interested in finding out who these gems are. These, I would assume, obviously, they're homeworld gems. And I guess the only way to find out will be to watch the following episodes and work our way through to the end of Season 4. So, I'll leave it at that. Everyone, thank you so much for being here for this episode of Discovering Steven Universe. If you'd like to watch episodes like this, in addition to other videos that I do here on the channel, ahead of time before they go live on YouTube, anywhere from a day to a week or more, if I have time to work on them that much, you can go over to the Patreon account, and that is patreon.com/PapaKennMedia. Link in the description down below, and then also at the end of this video. And for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to those videos as soon as I upload them. Or as soon as I upload them and wake up to put them on Patreon, because sometimes I have to leave them running overnight. But anyway, again, thank you all so much for being here. I will see you in the next episode. Until then, later days.